Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Monday, the 23rd of May. So looking at the euro dollar first, and euros yesterday, Friday, held onto its gains there for the first time for a while, and it's been pushing up so far this morning back towards its weekly pivot, which is just above at 12.50. Now, this current 4-hourly buy, if it ends anything like this, looks rather bearish at the moment, and we're already seeing or seen a retracement from the daily R1 sort of area. So some weakness sort of suggesting earlier on. Now we've already hit the daily pivot. It's the pivots. I mean, Friday's price action was so pinched. The pivot's very pinched here on a daily perspective. And it could be that we just run from pillar to post here a little bit. If we do start breaking down the lows, break through those 60-20s, 60-21s, we may end up pushing back towards the 50 and maybe even down towards the S1 and towards Friday's lows there, just below the S1. At the moment, not the most decisive of markets. Cable. Now, cable sold off pretty strongly on Friday there. Seen a little rally this morning earlier on, but again it's looking sort of quite bearish. Already hit the weekly pivot, which is just below us, and it's also shaping up now. It's hit that daily pivot as well, shaping up to look like it could just sort of roll back south here to beyond the Asian session lows. Potentially, and maybe down to the S1 there, so maybe a bigger correction in that bigger intermediate downward move. Dollar yen, there's a bit of comments coming through the Asian session, and the yen's rolled over a little bit again here. At the moment it's looking pretty bearish here actually, dollar yen. It's already hit the weekly pivot, but it really depends how it shapes up. It's not quite shaping up the same as the inverted pound or euro as you might expect with being the other side of the dollar. However, it is putting a bit of a spinning top up here. If it can break this sort of downward trend that's sort of forming here across these highs, maybe it could continue back in that original path. It's quite a messy old pattern though. When you look at it overall, there was some divergence in there last week. On Friday we sort of diverged marginally. Actually, it wasn't too much of a divergence. Just looking back, I take that back. In fact, it was a slightly higher RSI, so it was no divergence. Ignore that. But anyway, it's not looking the best of patterns at the moment. Okay, Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar, it's really done a bear flag sort of pattern here from the 4-hourly picture. You can see that it's sort of run up back into the weekly pivot, and again we've got another market that's sort of just rolled over a little bit at the moment. So we're seeing this correlated right the way through. It's already been hit weekly pivot. It's already up hit the R1 daily pivot. Maybe if it breaks the trend line towards the lower side, it could be a possible short, although the daily targets are a little bit more messy. Maybe running through the 21s. If it gets through that sort of area, it may come down towards Friday's lows. But again, the daily pivots are very pinched, bearing in mind the very small range that we saw on Friday. Okay, and finally the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar tried putting in a slight new high there. Move up there, but has since pulled off again. It's diverged on the 4-hourlies into that move. Whether it will move back down towards that weekly pivot, we'll see. At the moment, it's really been a sign of dollar strength through most of the markets, and we're also seeing oil coming off here, but which may actually see it push up as opposed to down from where we are. Although with oil coming off from it's down to 47, let's look at it on a clearer map. So it's actually come off from 49 down to about 47, 48, 47 and a half, so $1.50, somewhere in that region. It's oops, wrong one. Here we go. It's moved down quite a bit there. Let's put it back to CAD. Whereas the CAD's held soundly. I'd expect the CAD to have moved up a lot more significantly. It's lost a bit of its correlation on Friday. It never really worked in the same way. Well, it did have the sort of little peak at sort of mid-afternoon, but aside of that, it's just chopped sideways. I guess oil had as well. But now we're through this Asian session with oil coming off, we'd have expected to see the Canadian dollar pushing up, which it hasn't yet. That's not to say it won't get a bit of a push up there. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. News-wise today, there's not much in the way of news. We've got the French and German flash manufacturing service numbers out this morning. If they come in combined and agree with one another, sometimes we see a bit more volatility. We used to get sort of 10, 15, 20 pips out of these. So maybe we'll get a few pips movement out of those between at 8 for the French, 8:30 for the German. The 9 o'clock figure is the combined figure of the whole of Europe, which moves very little in general. We've got an FOMC member speaking, Bullard speaking at 11:15, which may create a little bit of volatility there due to speak about the US economy and monetary policy. So yeah, that could be a mover at 11:15. Just checking to see if there's anything else that's sort of kicking around there that I can see, and not at the moment. 11:15. We've got another speaker at 1 o'clock, actually, 1 p.m. So, I had another one at 11:30 p.m. this evening. So, right, okay. Just checking different news events. Right, that's it for me. Hope you have a great one. Bye for now.